Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Sunday evening, which means it's time for the Front Row Racing PCS Round 8 at the Dubai Autodrome. I'm Front Row Racing DP. I'll be doing commentary this evening, and joining me in the commentary box is Front Row Racing GP. But GP, I've got a little bit of echo, so I don't know if your microphone is perhaps a little too sensitive. But other than that, how are you this evening?
Something about that. I'm not too bad. Bit of a jump in the commentary box at the last moment, so all expecting to do a bit of Monaco, and then I find it's Dubai at the last minute, so I'm flying blind almost.
Should we tell the spectators that I asked you if you wanted a track map of the circuit? You said, no, it's alright, I've had a go in these cars around this track, I should know it, to find out that you were driving around Monaco and we're going to Dubai this evening.
Yeah, good job that I'm actually racing on the circuit.
Yeah, the drivers would not have been overly pleased with you had you sent them to Monaco, because as I'm sure you found out, Monaco in these cars would have been very, very tricky.
It's a very narrow circuit for these cars, very difficult, very bad on tyre wear as well.
However, the Dubai Autodrome, you've not driven around there in these cars, I've not driven around there in these cars. So we've no idea how the cars are going to handle, but what we do know is Dubai is pretty much in the desert. It's going to be hot, it's going to be difficult for the tyres, it's going to be difficult for the drivers.
Definitely. It's the sort of place where you're not necessarily going to find rain, but what you will find is a lot of sand off circuit, and it's the sort of circuit that if you're not used to, you can find yourself out there in that sand.
Definitely.
There's quite a few places around here where, I mean, there's quite a few sharp corners, especially turn 10. I think that's where we may find a few people going off and a bit deep into that hairpin.
Definitely. Now we'll need you to send the drivers over to the racetrack. Now there is a couple of spaces in the lobby. A couple of drivers have let us know that they're not going to be racing this evening. A few haven't, so they have got invites sent to them. Hopefully they'll be able to join us if they are able to. Now, Steve, I know you've turned your microphone down. You may also need to turn it up a little bit because I can just about hear you, which means the viewers may not be able to hear you when these cars get going, because these cars do make quite a bit of noise, although they also have a glitch where they start sounding like machine guns, and audio-wise it's awful, but hopefully that won't happen. Anyway, the Dubai Autodrome GP circuit, just under 3.5 miles, 18 turns, high speed, some medium speed corners, some very tricky sectors of the circuit, and for the drivers, setup around here will be absolutely...
Well, I can imagine it being extremely vital around here. I mean, the first sector is a lot of fast bends, the middle sector is a lot of high speed, and that last sector again is a lot of tight twisties. So yeah, setup vital, especially for the tyre wear.
Definitely is.
My microphone working any better, by the way?
It is a little bit, but I still think you may need to turn it up a bit more. Now, for the viewers looking, it may look like it's a little bit foggy. It's not. It's just very, very hazy out there on the circuit today. It's very, very hot here in Dubai. Now, as the drivers are taking part in the 15-minute qualifying session, I am going to quickly run through the result of last week and the standings. So I'll thrash through those as quickly as possible. But Steve, just a couple of tips for you, because you've not really done commentary on Project Cars before. At any point you can press your L2 button, brings up the timing screen, and it will show sectors for you. Unfortunately it won't show greens and purples, but it will show you some sector times, and also R2 will show you a track map. Now for me at the Nordschleife last week it wasn't working, the track map, but hopefully here it will. Anyway, on to...
at the moment.
As long as it's working, that's fine. Okay, quick recap then on the result from last week. Round 7 from the Nordschleife, which was a fantastic race. It was a very, very exciting race with Livebry and GBM Beardy going at it up at the front. The result, though, it did go in the favour of Livebry, who took the victory in the 25 points. GBM Beardy finished second, taking 20. Kay Slay finished third, scoring 16 points, while Dave the Harp finished fourth, taking home 13. Neo Tig took 5th place, scores himself 11 points, with Killer Corkin taking 6th on 10 points. RKB Sergeant Caliber finished 7th, scored 9, and then GT Gavin 2, who unfortunately can't make it tonight, he said he's stuck at work, he finished 8th and took 8 points. GBM Vectra finished 9th, scored 7 points, and then we got from a Racing GP, Tempfear, James Hulkenberg, Andy Russell and Richie Davey, who all did not finish. As I think GBM Beardy is actually about to start a flying lap. I'm going to leave my camera on him for the moment because he is the current standings leader and has won the most races in the PCS, I believe, this season. And regarding the standings, as I mentioned, it is Beardy that's leading the way on 156 points. And I tell you what, with Livebry not racing and not racing for the rest of the season, it's effectively handed GBM Beardy the title, which is massively disappointing for us in the commentary box, but also for the viewers. So GBM Beardy on 156 points, Livebry was on 146 points, but he's now pretty much out of the equation. That means that Kay Slay is in 3rd place on 81 points. So 75 point gap, 3 races to go, 75 points maximum available. So Kay Slay needs Beardy to not finish any of the last 3 races and for him to win them all. We've got Hesselden in 4th place on 77 points and Dave the Harp on 71. GT Gavin 2 on 65 with GBM Vectra on 57. Neotig on 55, and then we've got a little bit of a gap down to Chris Core, who can't race this evening. He's on 38 points. We then got Adam 4600 on 26, and then James Hulkenberg on 18. Jason on 15 from a Racing RI on 15. Woolhouse on 10. Killicorkin on 10. Driver Montana on 10. RKB Sergeant Caliber on 9. Andy Russell on 8. Jonesy on 5, and then from a Racing GP and Richie Davey with 0. And GBM Beardy hasn't gone for the pit lane. No comment. Cheeky. Okay, is there anybody out there lighting up any timing screens or looking quick at the moment, Steve?
Well, it was Beardy, but then he went for the pit lane. He had the fastest Sector 1, Sector 2, and then went for the pit lane, so obviously fancies a bit of a change of setup. It looks like Hesselden that's put a lap in. His sectors were a little bit off the pace, but he has completed a lap. Kay Slay 5 seconds quicker at the moment, but that's, like I say, Hesselden was more of a take your time out lap, it looked like there from Hesselden. I know that Hesselden can be quite a quick driver. I've seen him in the PCF, but I'm not too sure what he's like with these Aussie V8s.
From what I remember, he enjoys racing these cars, but he has struggled to maximise the pace of them, really. I'm just having a quick look at Tempfear, who's about to cross the line and goes 2nd place with a 159.984. Let's see, Hesselden's 3rd. James Hulkenberg, whose car is drifting, and that's the other glitch. We've got an audio glitch and a visual glitch with these Aussie V8s, and it doesn't matter if someone is racing them without live streaming or anything like that. These cars just do this, and it's really annoying. But let's see where Hulkenberg's time is going to put him. Other than sideways, it's 3rd place with a 159.3, which means somebody else, RKB Sergeant Caliber, has just snuck up to what was 2nd place, but he's now been bumped down to 3rd by Dave the Harp, who's done a 158.9. That's 9/10 off Kay Slay.
Just point out though that we've got the guys that have just put those times in, Dave the Harp and Sergeant Caliber, very good in Sector 3, and in fact, actually, just looking at this, it is only 2 sectors at this circuit, isn't it? We've got Sector 1 of a 49 and Sector 2 of a 39. Where's Sector 3 then?
I think you may be slightly misreading the you've got Sector 1, Sector 2, and then lap is effectively the end of the Sector 3. So it is 3 sectors. It doesn't give you that Sector 3,
no, but it doesn't give me the Sector 3 time. But I was just going to point out that the Sector 1 and 2 was quicker for Tempfear than what it was for Dave the Harp, Caliber and Hulkenberg. So yeah, Tempfear is pretty good in those first 2 sectors, but he lost his time in Sector 3.
Sector 3
he backed off a little.
He may have done, but I mean Sector 3 it's not the most difficult, but it has got a couple of awkward corners in it where if you get slightly offline or slightly overheat the tyres, the grip's not going to be there to really maximise the lap time, really. Okay, let's see, whereabouts is Woolhouse on the track? Looks like he's down at about turn 10 at the moment, the hairpin on the circuit. He is now going into turn 11, I think. That's where I find out that that's not the corner he's at. No, he is. And makes his way to turn 13, so into sector 3 now, I believe. No, it was the wrong corner. He's in the final corner. I think. Yes, he was. I may have the wrong track map. And for some reason, my track map on screen is not working again. Why? I don't know.
It's a strange one, right?
Well, strange and frustrating. Now, Casely, he's currently sitting on pole position. So, I mean, given the driver's standings, I mean, this is a race now, if he wants any chance of winning the title, and there is half a chance there, taking pole position would be one step closer to giving it a fight. But if GBM Beardy decides, you know, I'll just start from the back of the grid and go and enjoy myself, then it could make for some very interesting racing.
Very true, but Casely at the moment is 2 seconds quicker than most of the others in that first sector alone. And that's where he's gaining his time. So he's got his car definitely set up for that first sector. And it looks like he's actually helping him through the rest of the lap.
He's just about to cross the line, and he has just improved. It's a 1:57.691. David Harp about to cross the line. I think he's just starting a flying lap, so we'll follow on with him for a little while. And you, Steve, can, if you want, give us a shout out on comparison of sector 1 and 2 times.
Yeah, well, Casely did a low 47 for sector 1, so we'll see what David Hart can get with that first sector. And he can't be too far away from that sector mark, and it's not come up yet. I thought he was just about to crash the line for the sector then. And it must be on this short straight somewhere. It takes quite a long first sector though, isn't it? I suppose if you're looking at about 48 seconds.
Yes.
So maybe I just jumped the gun there and misjudged what corner he was on. There we are, a 48.1. So it's about 3/4 of a second off what Casely did. But still, that's the second quickest sector 1 on the board from what I've seen. So not too bad at all from Dave the Hart.
Oh, but he's just gone deep. Sorry, at the hairpin. That is turn 10. So that's. Oh, I wouldn't say it's his lap over, but that's his lap definitely compromised. You're going to lose a good half a second, if not more, by going a little bit late on the brakes.
Corner. Yep, and that is the corner I pointed out and said that is the corner where most people could end up going deep. It's the fastest part of the circuit. So it's very difficult in these cars to judge your braking point there.
Dave's abandoned the lap.
Lighting up the board. Temp Fear, he's done sector 1, he's done sector 2. Very comparable to Dave the Harp in sector 1. The sector 2 is, I think it may be his personal best sector 2, and it's comparable to what everyone else has done. It's just put him second place. But he's still 1.1 seconds from Casely's time there. I'm just wondering if Casely's time has just made a few other drivers rethink their setup.
Quite possibly. Now, Dave the Harp is going out on track again. RKB Caliber. Now, we're just going to call him Caliber. He is out on track at the moment. He has been through sector 1. He's done a 48.3, which isn't too shabby, but it's going to be about 8-9 tenths off Casely's time. He's gone sideways. Or is it the drift glitch? That's the drift glitch. Absolutely hate that glitch.
Yeah.
I know people go on about how good Project Cars is. That's not good. I'm sorry, I might be in a bit of a grumpy mood today, folks, and that's because I've eaten and then come on to commentary, when really what I should have done is eaten and had a nap. So Project Cars might be in for a bit of bashing this evening. Now, someone I've not really mentioned is James Hulkenberg, who, I tell you what, by the looks of his car, has found a wall somewhere, which is some going, because the walls are not exactly close to the circuit here. I mean, this track, completely different to the Nordschleife, where we were racing last week. The Nordschleife is a fantastic racetrack. There's nothing else like it in the world. It's tight, it's twisty, there's barriers everywhere, and this circuit is a completely different kettle of fish, where setup will be potentially very, very different as well. Well, Hulkenberg has got the sideways glitch as well.
Just point out that Caliber's just improved his time. Even though he has got that sideways glitch, he has just gone up into 3rd place. Improved his time. He's now 1.1 seconds off Caseley. So he has got a bit of pace around here.
Yep. I mean, for the drivers that have managed to put plenty of practice time in, it will benefit them hugely. Hulkenberg here, as he's going sideways, he's only got this corner and one more to go before he crosses the line. I must admit, I hate the noise that these cars make as well when the audio glitch kicks in. They're fantastic V8 monsters, but when they sound like they are doing now, it is horrible. But Hulkenberg does not improve on his lap time.
No, not at all. I'm just wondering actually whether he did jump back to the pits and back out, and that might be his out lap. Because I don't think I saw something on the board for his sectors previously.
Okay, might have been his out lap
Adam
then.
4600's done a sector 1, he's in sector 2, he's got the sideways glitch as well, unfortunately.
Yep, now GBM Beardy, he has gone back out on track. So he's either just a few setup tweaks or he's going for a late lap time. But for the drivers, if they're crossing the line any time now, they're not going to get a lap in. Once that timer in the top right corner gets to 0, that's session over. So Beardy perhaps going for one last lunge here for qualifying, see if he can knock Caseley off pole position. And he's got a beautiful approach into the turn 10 hairpin. Car looking very stable.
Sector 1 was in the 47s, but it's the high 47s, but that is the second quickest on the board for sector 1.
So he's quick, but not as quick as Caseley through that first sector then. Sector 2 will be quite important.
Just say though that David Hart's just lit the board up with his sector 2 of a 38.8, which is one of the quickest in sector 2. He's going to finish his lap before Beardy, but Beardy's gone quicker in that second sector by nearly a quarter of a second. He's got a 38.5.
So it's going to be close then. Beardy then, I think he's only got one more corner to go. And then he's going to be on the start-finish straight. And I think this could put him up there somewhere on the front row of the grid.
What's it going to do? It's
second place. I tell you what, second place with a 157.209 means Caseley's gone quicker, which he has. Caseley's stolen it.
See it, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, a 156.998, and I tell you what, he needed to get that time in because his previous time would have put him in second place. So that's pretty much qualifying over now then, folks. I don't think there's anybody else out on track that can get a lap in. Oh, Woolhouse is out there, but he's not going to be able to cross the line, unfortunately. So that is session over, and his car is in the barrier. So quick recap then of qualifying. Caseley pole position, GBM Beardy second place, Dave the Harp third, Hulkenberg got up to fourth place, Tempfear fifth, Caliber is sixth, Hesselden seventh, GBM Vectra in eighth, the nearly demoted Beardy then by a few places, Neotig in ninth, Adam 4600 11th, and Woolhouse in 12th. I'm just wondering if we may have just lost somebody. My track map is now up. So I'm sure that said that Woolhouse was in 12th.
Short.
Well, we came in with 13 on the list, but it did say that Woolhouse was in 12th there, unless I got that slightly wrong. Easily done.
No, we still have 13.
Yep. Now, usually when you bring up the track map, it will let you know if somebody has been disconnected, which it's not doing so we'll crack on. But I mean, for Caseley, he's showing some pace in these cars. I mean, he was doing well at the Nordschleife. I mean, you drove these cars around the Nordschleife. I mean, just how tricky was that in these cars?
With limited practice, extremely tricky. But talking to drivers like Caseley and James Hulkenberg, obviously they put plenty of practice in, and they still found it a difficult circuit. I mean, it is the green hell, and you can't just put it down to these cars. The circuit's got a lot to do with it, obviously, but these cars on any circuit can be tricky.
They definitely can.
I'm just wondering here as well. Go on, sorry.
I thought Woolhouse had the sideways glitch then. He didn't. He was actually drifted it, although losing control. Yeah. I think that was definitely losing control slightly. It looked good. But I wasn't going to praise it because I thought it was just the sideways glitch, and that's one of the other downsides to the sideways glitch. I never know if it's someone doing a beautiful drift like Hulkenberg. No, that's the sideways glitch. Annoying. Okay, so the 5-minute warm-up session then in progress with 3 minutes remaining of it. This is a time for the drivers to make any final setup tweaks, put their fuel in for the race, sort their pit strategies out. I mean, it's going to be... It doesn't sound like a long race, 25 laps, but when you look at the lap times of the like 156s, 157s, 25 laps, it is going to be quite a long race. And for these guys, it's going to be potentially a long, hard race. I mean, you were talking, Steve, about some of the corners around this track. I'm just going to go on board with Woolhouse here as he makes his way around the final corner, because at the start of the race, heading down into turn 1, if people get bad starts, oh, is Woolhouse losing it? No, he's not doing all right there. Yeah, if anyone gets a bad start, they're going to get swamped down into turn 1. It's a long, long run down into turn 1. Downhill braking zone makes it very, very tricky. And an unusual sort of medium speed corner. Is that the sideways glitch? Yes, it is, just to make things look absolutely stupid. Cheers, Project Cars. Ruined my talk through of a lap there. So I'll go on board. Oh, actually, I won't go on board with Hulkenberg because it was Hamlin and Beardy. Okay, yeah, so turn 1, it's a medium speed to high speed fast corner. So anyone that has a bad start are going to get swamped by a lot of places. Sector 1, it just seems to get quicker and quicker and then tightens up as they get into turn 6, and then tightens even more as they take the long, long right-hander into the apex of turn 7. A short little burst then up to turn 8, which is more of a kink and a braking zone into turn 9, where multiple choices of where to apex the corner, and then onto the long, long, long run down the straight, heading up to turn 10. This could definitely be an overtaking place on this track. Top speed and gear ratio is crucial for the drivers. And then you've got to pick your braking point, get it slowed down, and can you clip the apex? Beardy can quite nicely. Turn 10 accomplished. Turn 11, it's actually quite a quick corner if you've got the confidence in the grip of the car. And now another short little burst up to turn 12, it's almost another hairpin. Get it in on that apex, little clip of the curb, get the power down, use the exit curb, and another fast run now towards the kink of 13, which almost leads you into a curved braking zone of 14, where it's a long, long double apex left-hander. Missed the first apex to try and pick out the second apex. Quite nicely done there by Beardy. And then a short little burst of power to turn 15, hug the inside curb. Short burst, many short bursts around here to the final corner, turn 16. Again, it's almost a hairpin, but it's a quick one, and then a run down to the start-finish line. And that's the lap of the Dubai GP circuit.
And that's session over as well, so we're going to be on the grid shortly. Just say though about this circuit, the elevation changes. I mean, it's a desert that's flat, but what they've done with the circuit is unbelievable to actually give it that character, and to have certain parts of the circuit like turn 1 that's downhill. It just gives you that extra thing to think about when you're hitting those brakes.
It definitely does. Okay, so we're about to get ready for the race then. Round 8 at the Dubai Autodrome. 25 laps for the PCS drivers. Who's going to come out on top? Only time will tell. And I've got a message saying that I'm sinking in the middle of my screen. I hope that doesn't mean I'm about to get disconnected.
I have the same message. It's gone.
There we go then, the lights are on. As soon as they go green, the drivers will be away, and off they go. Adam 4600 though, he's not moved ahead of me, but we'll get on board with whoever we can down at the front. And K-Slay, he's already down to 3rd place, so possibly had a bit of a delayed start there, or a bad start. But I think Temp Fear, yes, he's up to 2nd. No, K-Slay sneaks back through to take that 2nd place. But no, Temp Fear, he stole it back off him. No, they're having a crash. They're into the barrier.
And there's a few drivers there that are picking off places, but we've got a sideways car at the back there. Hesselden's down in 9th place, and it's Temp Fear that's the driver that's lost out.
Yeah, Hesselden's in 9th. K-Slay's down to 7th place. May have a little bit of damage on that car now. And I think Hesselden spun it. Somebody spun it. No, it's Woolhouse. So Woolhouse has lost out massively now. So GBM Beardy leading the race as they get onto the long straight heading to turn 10. Dave the Harp in second place with Caliber in third. James Hulkenberg right behind him in fourth place, trying to utilise the slipstream. Neotig in fifth, but he's being attacked by GBM Vectra, who's trying to sneak around the inside of the corner. May be able to steal that place, but no, Neotig's gone deep at the next one, forces him out wide and manages to hold on to the position.
Okay, so in 8th place, it's not looking good for the pole sitter. At this point, he's coming towards the end of the lap, and he's going to be...
I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm going to have to cut you off. Heselden, he was gone from 9th place, or 8th place, just overtaken 2. He's up to 6th. Managed to sneak past Neotig and Vectra while they were battling. No, Vectra has managed to stay ahead, so I think it was 9th. Oh, Vectra's just gone very, very deep into the corner.
We've got Adam 4600 still on the grid. Standing still on the grid, so the cars are going to find him. We've got somebody into the pits on lap 1.
Dave the Harp.
There he is, he was in second place, he's gone to the pits. Early pit stop.
Hopefully the drivers will be able to avoid Adam 4600. And for Adam, that's massive disappointment there. We've got a little battle going on again at Kay Slay. He's now up to 6th place, trying to look up the inside of Neotig. Well, Neotig's using the slipstream of Heselden ahead.
Can confirm that Dave the Harp had a drive-through penalty. That must be for a jump start.
I tell you what, if that's from the sinking start and Dave going on what would have been a green light for him, he'll be absolutely fuming about that one. But K-Slade trying to steal places. Neotig slightly offline. That's 5th place for K-Slade. Let's have a look up at the front. Beardy, he's pulled out a gap. Caliber's in 2nd place with his car sideways, and Hulkenberg's just gone wide. That's going to put Heselden on the back of him. And these two, they're fighting it out in the PCF for the title. It's time for them to now... Oh no, Heselden's lost it! He's spun it on the curb! That's going to lose him a few more places. He's down to 7th. That's unfortunate for him there. Tempfia, he's recovering back in 6th place now. So he's got a car between himself and Kay Slay after their early collision.
I'm surprised at the moment that the way Heselden's driving the car, because he is a smooth driver from what I've seen, but it looks like it's the car that he's just not getting on with.
Well, GT Gavin 2 did tell me the other day that Heselden is not a huge fan of tight, twisty circuits. Now, I wouldn't say that this is a tight, twisty circuit, but it has got, obviously, quite a few turns in it. So maybe it's just the elevation changes that you were mentioning. With a few of the medium speed to slow speed corners that he's not quite getting on with around here. GBM Vectra looks like he's got a little bit of damage. Woolhouse in 10th, and Adam 4600's car appears to still be there on the grid.
Let's hope all the guys remember it's there. Oh, Casey's got heavy front end damage. Definitely got a bit of a crunch to that front end. I don't know if it's a rear end of a car he's caught or a wall, but
I think that was where that was from his collision with Tempfia, where it speared them both off into the barrier. I mean, hopefully, with it being a frontal impact, it's not caused any suspension damage for him. Unfortunately, we can't really see inside the cars to see if his steering wheel is cocked to one side or not. But to be fair, he's actually looking like he's catching James Hulkenberg at the moment.
Well, in the last lap they did, he was a second quicker. Or nearly a second quicker, so yeah, he's closing that gap up. But I tell you what, Beardy, he's nearly 2 seconds a lap quicker on that last lap. But okay, he's not got any pressure from anyone, but he's definitely opening up some space behind him, I should say.
Yeah, there definitely is a gap appearing. I think Hulkenberg, he's definitely got K-Slate getting close to him. I mean, obviously, disappointment for Dave the Harp.
Neotig was just miles wide on the main straight. Oh, he's been disconnected, that'll be why.
Oh dear, so Neotig out of the race then. So Dave the Harp having a drive-through penalty. He's now up to 7th place with Heselden just ahead of him. So these guys battling out for position and going on qualifying pace.
Casey looks like he's lining up a move on Hulkenberg. Extremely close together. Unfortunately, we've got that sideways glitch on Hulkenberg's car, which makes it awkward to tell what line is attempting to take the corners.
Which is interesting,
extremely close to him.
Because I haven't got the sideways glitch on Hulkenberg at the moment, but you're right, K-Slate is getting very, very close to him.
They are the closest two vehicles on circuit at the moment, and they could end up looking for an out-braking move into that turn one.
I mean, if you look at the qualifying pace of the drivers, you'd expect the likes of K-Slay, Dave the Harp, Temp Fear to perhaps be able to gain a few positions throughout the rest of this race, because they were the quicker drivers in qualifying. But then we don't know whether the other guys ran a little wide somewhere, had a lap invalidated, just weren't quite comfortable with their cars.
Well, something we've not mentioned yet is strategies and tyre compound, because I'm right in saying they don't have to use different compounds, they don't have to change during the race.
No.
But they do have a choice of soft and hard. So I'm just wondering if K-Slate qualified on the soft and he might be running on the harder tyres. I don't know how to tell from looking at his car what he's on, but Beardy, I won't be surprised if he's on the soft tyres with the pace he's running at the moment.
Quite possibly. I mean, I would think that most of the drivers would use the soft tyre in the qualifying session. I mean, they tend to be good for 5-6 laps depending on the length of the circuit. So in qualifying, the guy should have no problem in hammering out a couple of quick laps on the soft tyre. As K-Slay's just ran deep, and that's let Hulkenberg pull away from him, and Hulkenberg is now catching up to Caliber. So in qualifying, I think all of the drivers would use the soft tyre, but in the race so far this season, majority of them have been running the harder tyre because it simply lasts better in the races. Dave the Harp, he's up to 6th place, so he's managed to get ahead of Hesselden. We've missed that on camera, but I did mention that the likes of Dave the Harp, quicker in qualifying, should be able to gain some places, and Dave has done that right now. I mean, he may be running the softer tyre, which is allowing him to be quicker at the moment, but I can't imagine that the guys would really go for the softer compound tyre.
Would you expect this to be a two-stop race then, for most drivers?
Potentially, yes. I think Adam 4600's car may now have moved.
He did get disconnected.
Yeah, so his car has now gone. So massive disappointment then for Neotig and Adam 4600 there. Two-stop race, I would say yes, probably. On the hard compound tyres, most races this season have been two stops. And that's why I think the guys will be using the hard tyre, because when they've been using softs, it turns it into it turns it into 3 and 4 stop races. Now Hulkenberg is getting very, very close to Caliber, but one thing the drivers have been mentioning to me previously or after previous races is that when these Aussie V8s are driving around the circuit properly, they're great. When you're following a car as a driver and the car ahead is going sideways, billowing smoke at you everywhere, is very, very difficult to get around the circuit and even make an overtake.
I'll tell you what, Beardy's looking so comfortable in that first place at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to just keep that car running without doing a pit stop for quite some time yet. I say that, he'll probably head into the pits this lap now, I've said that.
Probably. I tell you what.
Yeah, looking very comfortable.
I tell you what we have got though. I mean, Temp Fear is not far away from K-Slate. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th aren't that far apart. And one mistake from any of the drivers, they're losing positions. Hulkenberg is very, very close to Caliber now. If he can have a good run around the final corner, he may be able to attack into turn 1. Caliber, I think, has gone very wide. He has. Hulkenberg up the inside. So it's a drag race now, one car sideways, and the sideways car appears to be faster. So that's obviously how to get the maximum speed out of these Aussie V8s. Do it slightly backwards. But Hulkenberg's got the inside line though for turn 1, throws it around the corner, and now it's his turn to be sideways ahead of Caliber and put him off. But that's Hulkenberg up to 2nd place. K-Slay, he's actually caught up to 2nd and 3rd, I believe. Only a little bit though. Temp Fear's 5th, with Dave the Harp not far behind him, and Hesselden has caught up to Dave the Harp now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Hesselden in the early stages got those tyre temps a little too quickly, too hot, too quick. Done a few sideways moments. He's just been off the throttle a little bit and cooled them down, and it's just helping his lap time a little. He's just settling into it a bit more.
Well, he's reeling in, Dave, now quite quickly.
We've got a car in the pits, and it's not first place. It's Woolhouse in 9th place. So is this for a pit stop? It looks like it might be. So that is Woolhouse into the pits, the first guy to actually stop for a pit stop.
Now, if that is a pit stop and he was running the soft tyre, that's only 4 laps. But Hesselden here, he's got to run on Dave the Harp, heading down to turn 10. He's in the slipstream, but Dave's quick in a straight line, and he can't do him under braking. Hesselden is taking it kind of cautiously under braking, doesn't want to go deep as Dave the Harper's just done, and gifts Hesselden the position. So Hesselden taking it easy there, worked for him, and Dave's had a power boost penalty, so that drops him down to 7th place.
And tell you what, Hulkenberg cannot get rid of Caliber behind him. Caliber's stuck with him, so we may see another change of positions at some point there. I thought that Hulkenberg, once he caught Caliber up, would be able to stretch that gap out, but it's not. Oh no, Hulkenberg, is that a slow down penalty?
It may have been. It may have been. It's difficult for us to know because with them having the sideways glitch, we can't tell exactly where they're placing their car. But with his car going as slow as it was and then pulling off the racing line, it would suggest that it is. And K-Slay is close enough to be being bombarded with smoke, so still in contention for 2nd place at the moment.
Fear pulls into the pit stop for his first stop. So these soft tyres are not going very long at all, unless these guys just want to get rid of a bit of damage, which might be a possibility.
It's looking like a long stop for Fear here. They may have dropped his wheel nuts, so that does happen. Dave Harp is also in the pits. This is such a long stop for Fear that Dave may jump him. No, Fear's away. Dave Harp still stationary. Maybe they've dropped his nuts as well, or they're dropping a little bit of fuel in that car. Dave now makes his way out of the pits.
Yeah, what they need down there is the Monza squirrel to go find the nuts.
Yeah. Well, Giubio Vectra, he's now moved up to 6th place, hasn't stopped yet. Hesselden running 5th, also has not stopped. So I think you may have been right with Dave the Harp running the soft compound tyre, you know. I mean,
Hulkenberg, sorry, no, it's K-Slay. He's gone extremely deep at turn 10. He was so far off, he nearly hit the wall at the back of the I would say gravel track, but it's extra tarmac back there. But that was way deep. He must be struggling with these tyres now as well. Sorry, continue saying what you were saying.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, if the soft tyres are only lasting 4 laps, it proves the point of why using the harder compound is the better tyre when it comes to the race. I mean, with the extra fuel on, the rear tyres take more of a pounding. And as soon as you're into that race mode way of driving where you're attacking, you're defending, you're pushing the car more than it really wants to be pushed, you put more pressure through the tyres, and the hard tyres can take it. Around this hot track, hot temperatures, soft tyres, they are just going to burn up and destroy very quickly, and I'm wondering if that's what's happened for K-Slay, but he hasn't pitted. So
Hulkenberg he's in the pits now. So Hulkenberg is in the pits.
Okay, so Caliber continues on, and GBM Beardy, who hasn't pitted yet, I believe that is Woolhouse just ahead of him. We'll just go and check. It is. So Woolhouse, who has pitted, is in 9th place, has got the race leader behind him. Now, for any of the guys that have pitted, I just hope that they do go to the hard tyre. I mean, it could actually be a strategic thing. I mean, maybe Woolhouse moves out of the way to let the race leader through. But yeah, it could be a strategic thing. 24-lap race, maybe the hard tyres couldn't do a one-stop. Maybe the guys can only get sort of 9 laps out of the hard tyre. Well, if that's the case, it kind of would make sense to run an option stint, a soft tyre stint, and then pit with about 18, 19 laps to go and do a 10-lap stint and a 9-lap stint, or a 9 and a 9 on the hard tyre. So it could be strategic to use the soft tyre, but whether it'll work out in the long run, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I'm just on board with Hesselden myself at the moment, and I believe he's not pitted yet, and he's into 4th place at the moment, so I'm just wondering what his strategy may be. Because if he's running long at this first, or longer than some at this first stint, Maybe he'll be trying to do one stop less. Now we've got another car in the pit lane. Let me find out who that is for you.
It's the race leader, it's GBM Beardy.
It is.
What I can pretty much guarantee you is that Hesselden will be on the hard compound tyre. He has not run the soft tyres in the races this season. He knows that they just get destroyed.
Well, that might be one way to tell them. I mean, we've seen some guys pitting after
he's just gone deep.
4, 5 and 6. Go on.
No, he's just gone deep at a corner. Lost a bit of time there.
Oh dear.
I think once
Caliber's
these tyres...
into the pits.
Okay, Caliber into the pits then. Hesselden spinning, it's a slow motion spin. I was going to say, yeah, I think once these tyres get a little bit of wear on them, a little bit of temperature in them, they're pretty much shot, they're done. And Hesselden is making his way into the pit lane, but he's lost a lot of time. Now, he was battling with Dave the Harp. Well, we've got GBM Vectra in 6th place with Temp Fear right behind him in 7th. But yeah, Steve, if you can find out where Dave the Harp is and see if Dave is going to get ahead of Hesselden. Oh, Temp Fear power boost penalty as he attempted an overtake. That gives Vectra a bit of a breather as he goes into the pits.
I don't think Dave the Harp's going to do it. He's got 2 more corners to go. And well, Hesselden's not on the move yet, so it might be on the cards. Yeah, I think he's just coming around the last corner. It's gonna, and is Hesselden on the move yet? He is. They could end up side by side at the end of the straight. Dave the Harp is on that straight. He's got his foot down. Hesselden's still under the pit lane speed limit. It's going to be very tight into that turn 1. These are going to be side by side.
So here we go then.
Here he comes.
Now Dave's got the warmer tyres, the grippier tyres right now, and he manages to get through. Takes 6th place off Hesselden. And now Dave did pit 3 laps ago, so he's on 3 lap fresher tyres, so a bit of an undercut helping him there. But also, I mean, if Hesselden hadn't have had his spin, Hesselden would have come out ahead.
Yeah, that's very true. And looking at what lap Hesselden has pitted on, he'll be looking to do about the same length stint again to make it a 2-stop race, whereas I think there might be some guys here that are going to have to do a 3-stop.
Okay, here's some extra info for you then. Casely, now leading the race, has not stopped yet. GBM Beardy is right behind him. He has stopped. Hulkenberg, after the pit stops, has come out ahead of Caliber, and neither of them going sideways at the moment. Pit stops do tend to solve it until the car goes over a curb, so we'll see him going sideways again soon. So Hulkenberg needs to open that gap up now as best as he can.
There's a change for the lead. Casely, I don't know if he let Beardy through, but he ran a bit deep into the last corner, and Beardy just went up the inside and took the lead. But yep, we know that Beardy is on those fresh tyres.
And Casely struggling, those tyres are hurting. Now, the question for Casely really is going to be, is he going to stick with them for another couple of laps? I think we've got a car slow and stationary somewhere, or has been stationary. It might be about, yes, I think that's Woolhouse who's had a bit of a moment. Yeah, for Casely, if he can do what, he's on 8 laps now. If he can do...
He's got to get to about lap 13 to get a 1-stop.
I'm
really.
not so sure it's going to work.
No, but if it's not going to work, surely he should have pitted already. But you never know what he might have been thinking from practice. But also, thinking about with Casely, if he's got that front end damage, he might be aware that his next pit stop, well, when he makes his pit stop, it might be quite a lengthy one because of it might want to repair his damage. Now, if he knows he's going to have a lengthy pit stop, he might be trying to reduce the amount of, the amount of pit stops. So he might have been planning a 2-stop and he's trying to stretch it to a 1.
Quite possibly. I tell you what we've got brewing here. Temp Fear, 5th place. Dave the Harp, 6th place. And Hesselden behind him in 7th. And Dave and Hesselden, I think, are beginning to catch up to Temp Fear as Dave gets a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 9, as Hesselden's actually just ran wide there as well. But if Dave and Hesselden can begin to reel in at Temp Fear, a little battle for us to watch on that one.
There's 3 cars very close together, but it's one of those, the back marker of
Woolhouse. Woolhouse is right behind Hesselden. I think he's just pulled out of the way.
Yeah, that's
I think
right.
he's got damage. He's just had another spin, so I think there may be damage on that car. we may see a retirement fairly soon from him. But I mean, these three guys, I mean, I mentioned that Dave and Hesselden are catching Tempfear. They are catching him very, very quickly. Very quickly.
K-Slate into the pits. Woolhouse unfortunately just disconnect.
So that is effectively a retirement for Woolhouse then. So K-Slate pitting, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to come out potentially either in the middle of the battle between Caliber and Hulkenberg or in the middle of this battle.
That pit stop was not as long as I thought. I don't think it repaired any of the bodywork damage, and I don't think it had too much damage to suspension or anything there. It was quite a quick pit stop. He's released the pit limiter and he's back on full power.
He is, and he's coming out just behind this trio of cars. So we've got Tempfear in 4th, David Hart 5th, Hesselden 6th, and K-Slay on brand new tyres in 7th. Now, I'm wondering now, I mean, K-Slay has done what? 9 laps. That's got to be the hard tyres. He could be doing a soft tyre stint. Tempfear's just gone wide. That's going to allow Dave the Hart to get close, but Dave's gone a little bit cautious, I think. Yeah, I'm wondering if K-Slay's going to chuck a soft tyre stint in here.
Quite possibly. Might be looking, you know, whether it's a soft stint here now, or whether he does another hard stint and then a soft at the end, when most drivers are going to be struggling with the tyres, because that might be when he'll gain most of the time.
I don't think any of these guys are quite close enough to attack. Dave is closing in on Tempfear, but not able to overtake. And K-Slay at the back of the train, just trying to close that gap in. I tell you what, Dave seems to be quicker through the corners around this track. Would have had a lot more practice than Tempfear, I think, and a lot more time to work on setup.
And also, Tempfear was one of the, I think he was either the second or third guy into the pits. So Dave the Harp's tyres are probably a couple of laps fresher than Tempfear's.
Tempfear's ran wide. This is what I'm on about, where Dave's car seems to be stronger through the corners. Hesselden's too, and K-Slay's.
I mean, K-Slay's right there with them, and he's going to be wanting to get these guys out of the way as soon as possible because he knows he's got pace.
Dave's got to run. Sorry, Dave's got to run here. He's had a fantastic exit at the final corner. Tempfear looks like he's got straight line speed, but Dave may be able to have a look into turn 1 as he closes in on the braking zone. He's showing that he's going to go for the inside, late on the brakes, and Hesselden round the outside of Dave. So while Dave's trying to make a move, Hesselden's trying to make a move, and K-Slay's trying to make a move. Everyone's overtaking each other. It's madness.
K-Slay's got the move done on Hesselden. Can Hesselden come back at him?
There's a fantastic move by Hesselden, and Dave is still trying to get past Tempfear. You can see that K-Slay's closing in on him quickly. Dave gone for a very tight line. He's had to hit the brakes hard there through fear of being chopped up, I think.
Now this is where it's going to get tasty, onto this long straight out of turn 9, heading down towards turn 10. Yeah,
K-Slay's up the inside of Dave. Dave ran wide. Who's going to get the slipstream from the car ahead? K-Slay just ahead of Dave. He may have enough room to move across to try and take the slipstream. K-Slay has got the slipstream. Now we're hard onto the brakes into turn 10. And Dave's got the inside line, but K-Slay he's got the fresher tyres. He could have the better exit. He's now got the inside line to the next corner. Beautiful drive in there.
Wow, I mean, that's an overtake where it's taken 2 corners, but he's positioned his car brilliantly to make that overtake stick.
And he's now all over the back of Tempfear.
I mean, this is obviously a bit of a difference between the tyres here, but
K-Slay.
Oh, has he gone deep? It's gone well deep.
I thought he was going to go round the outside. I didn't expect him to go round the outside and then round the outside of the outside. He's now the inside to... That's one interesting line around those corners. And Tempfear's into the pits.
I'm just wondering, you know, whether Tempfear, with his tyres as they were, actually may have put K-Slay off his braking point.
Dave's gone deep. Hesselden's coming through side by side over the start-finish line. Hesselden slightly ahead, but Dave may have the slipstream from K-Slay.
I think Hesselden had it for majority of the straight, and Dave just picked it up towards the end, but Hesselden's still on the inside line there. Looks like he's got the move done.
He has. It's more fantastic driving from these guys. Hesselden then moves up to 5th place, demotes Dave down to 6th. It's an interesting situation now because Dave was there chomping at the bit to try and take 4th place off Temp Fear. He knew he had to get the move done. He couldn't get the move done and he loses 2 places from it.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about tyre strategies once again with these guys. We know Caseley has pitted not that long ago. Hesselden, trying to remember what lap he pitted on. I think it was that's right, he came out with Dave the Harp, was coming down the straight.
Caseley came out, Hesselden came out of the pits with 17 laps remaining.
That's right, yeah. So Dave the Harp's tyres are older than Hesselden's by a lap or 2, yeah.
Yep.
So just looking at who may be pitting next out of these guys, we may see Dave the Harp with the next guy in the pits, and it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation with Temp Fear, who's not long gone into the pits.
And he's come out not too far behind GBM Vectra, who we've not seen much on camera throughout the race.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a lonely race, but he's still there in it, and see what he can do from this point onwards, because, you know, will he stick a soft stint in towards the end?
I think we may have lost one more driver from the race, which would be a huge shame if that's the case.
See if I can pick up on who it may be.
It's showing that Neotig was the last one. You did mention that earlier on, so it could have been Neotig at the time. But Caseley, now that he's got ahead of these guys, he's pulling a gap out on Hesselden. He's opening it up a massive gap there. Dave the Harp into the pits.
There we go. We expected Dave the Harp to be the next one in, and he did just that. I mean, also Caseley set the pole time, which was
Temp Fear, sorry, Temp Fear spinning. So possible chance of an undercut on Dave the Harp there, out the window. Sorry, carry on.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Caseley's pole time.
Caseley's his last lap was one of the quickest of the race so far. His last lap was one of the quickest of the race. So yeah, great lap there from Caseley. The only guy that was quicker is Hesselden. That's in the lead.
No, he's not.
What have we got?
Hesselden's behind Caseley. GBM Beardy is leading the race.
Beardy, that's right. Beardy's got the fastest lap, but Caseley's got the second fastest lap. That's what I'm saying. Caseley's got one of the fastest laps of the race so far, which was his last lap.
Yeah, it's all right. You said that Hesselden's leading, but Hesselden's not leading.
Oh, I didn't mean Hesselden. I meant Beardy, yeah.
Okay, so Beardy, he's crossing the
fastest lap.
Yeah, he's crossing the line to make it 11 laps remaining. Fastest lap of a 1:58.675. Second place is James Hulkenberg, who is not that far behind Beardy, you know.
No, he's not.
That gap has come down. Hulkenberg's fastest lap of 1:59.5. I'll tell you what, Steve, have a little count.
That was his last lap.
Okay.
I'll find the gap.
Yeah, have a little count, find out exactly what that gap is, because if Hulkenberg's pace is quicker at the moment, he may be able to give a bit of a fight for it for the lead of the race. Calibre in third place is best lap at 2 minutes 1.1. Caseley a 1:58.925. Hesselden a 1:59.565. GBM Vectra, who's now to 6th place with Temp and Dave pitting, a 2 minutes 3.007. Bond. Dave the Harp in 7th with a 2 minutes 1.163. I think that's going to get smashed by himself in the next couple of laps. Not as quick as, or not near his qualifying time. And Temp Fear a 2:02.088.
Right, the gap, just to say, the gap between Beardy and Hulkenberg was about 5 seconds, but in that first sector alone, Beardy pulled out half a second on James. So the gap didn't close in that first sector. We're just waiting for James to come up to the second sector now. There we are, and he's lost another half a second. So Beardy's pulling away a second in the first 2 sectors.
So I'm wondering then if Beardy, I would guess, has made a pit stop very, very recently, which is why the gap is what it is at the moment. We'll probably see Hulkenberg pitting again fairly soon.
Alright, well, Beardy's just about to cross the line to complete this lap, and it's a 1:58.7, which is only a tenth. Actually, it's 200ths off his fastest lap time. So yeah, they must be fresh tyres, I would assume.
Yep.
So James Hulkenberg's lap time was a 2 minutes dead, pretty much. So yeah, it's not quite on the pace. They look more like worn tyre pace. And Sergeant Caliber's last lap is just crossing the line now, is a 2:04, so he'll be looking for a pit stop soon unless he made a mistake on that lap. So he's 4 seconds off the pace of Hulkenberg ahead of him. Casely crossing the line has just done a 1:59.6, so he's catching up Caliber ahead of him. That big mighty fast rate of knots, 5 seconds alone on that last lap. Hesselden, who's just crossed the line with a 1:59.8, so that's similar pace to Casely ahead of him. Vectra 4 seconds slower on that last lap, so there we go.
Okay, and Dave the Harp is catching Vectra. I think Vectra is going to be needing a pit stop soon, not going for it yet. We have seen guys so far in this race do 9 laps. Vectra's going deep, that's going to give Dave the position, and it has done. So that's Dave the Harp up to 6th, but Vectra might have a good run, trying to attack back now into turn 1. But with older tyres, it's not going to be easy to get that car slowed down. He's already been struggling to make apexes. He's not going for it.
I'd just say, Caliber's first sector was not great. Casely 3 seconds quicker in that first sector than Caliber, so Casely is going to be on the back of him very quickly. But Hesselden behind Casely was about almost a second quicker than Casely in that first sector. So these 3 guys are going to be very close together in a moment.
You're right, they are. I mean, Caliber's continuing on for another lap, so is Casely and Hesselden. I think Hesselden's just gone a little bit deep at the final corner.
Hulkenberg in the pits. Just say Hulkenberg is in the pits.
Okay. Yeah, if Casely and Hesselden are catching at that amount throughout the lap, then they could be on him within the next lap or 2. But yeah, I was saying that we've seen drivers do 9 laps on the hard tyres so far in this race. As Caliber goes for the pits, struggles to make the entry, but he is in the pits. So these 3 are not going to get close to each other because one of them's decided to get well out of the way. But I was about to say we are into the next pit stop window.
Yes. And this is where we may find out what some of the guys may be doing strategy-wise as Hulkenberg is heading down the pit lane. Hesselden will be coming up alongside. No, it looks like Hesselden's going to have that place. He has.
But Casely and Hesselden got another stop to make.
They have, and I'll just say that on that last lap, Beardy and Casely's lap time were almost identical, bar 1 second, unfortunately. Casely was a second off.
Almost identical, except for a second difference.
Yeah, a Murrayism for you.
Okay. Hulkenberg now on the fresher tyres. He doesn't really have to worry too much about the 2 cars ahead of him. They've got to pit again. At least that's what we would expect. So he doesn't need to try and overtake them. Caliber's come out in 5th place. Dave the Harp's up to 6th. Tempfear is in 7th. With GBM Vectra now in the pits in 8th place. And Tempfear's not too far away from Dave the Harp, but since these guys have pitted, Dave I think has opened up that gap a little bit. I was wondering if Dave's anywhere near Caliber. I don't think he is. I think that gap's too big, but for Caliber it was crucial to pit when he did, because when Hesselden and Casely make their final stop, it's going to be close between them.
Caliber's going to take his tyres to the end. You'd think he'd be on the hard tyres, taking him to the end at this point. But it does make us wonder whether Casely may try and go for that soft stint, or will he play it safe and go for the hards?
Well, Casely pitted with 15 laps remaining, so he did 9 laps. He's not pitting this lap, so let's see, what is he on?
Hesselden is in. Hesselden is in the pits.
Okay, so we will get some kind of a sign then between Caliber and Hesselden.
Right, Casely is just going on to his 8th lap now on those tyres.
Yes, I think it would be. I tell you what, Caliber.
And Beardy was just in the pits. I believe.
So Beardy making his final stop then. Now, the gap between Beardy and Hulkenberg wasn't that big, so just check what that gap is, because Hulkenberg did pit a lap before Beardy, if Beardy has just made a stop. Hesselden on the move in the pit lane. Caliber crossing the start-finish line now. Is he going to be close, or is Hesselden behind? I think Hesselden is behind. Yes, he is. He's still making his way out of the pits. So Casely needs a very, very good few in laps here. Let's see.
7 seconds between Hulkenberg and Beardy, so that's 7 seconds. So James might catch him up for this lap, maybe the next one, with him having his tyres already up to temperature.
I don't think Hulkenberg's going to be able to catch him. Casely, though...
Not enough, no.
I mean, Casely's close to him, but Casely has only made the one pit stop so far. And he's just gone very, very deep at the final corner. Sorry, the penultimate... Yeah, it is the final corner, my apologies. So he's not pitting this lap.
Not.
You're right, it's not. I've got completely mixed up there. Where the bloody hell are you on track, Casely?
He's on 2 corners from the end now.
Okay.
So he'll have a right-hander with a pit entrance on his right-hand side after this corner. So will he go for the pits? He looks like he's keeping it tight. There
That's
we are,
a pit entrance
ahead of him.
So he is pitting this lap. But in many respects, he kind of had to. Oh, but he's had a crash! He's in the barrier. He's got to back it up and now try and get going again. I think that's going to give Hesselden that position.
That's unfortunate. Any advantage that he may have gained from his strategy, he may just have lost.
I mean, I know it's a good idea to attack the pit lane, but we don't mean attack the barriers in the pit lane.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've seen Hesselden do that before at Brands Hatch and lost about 10-15 seconds. Caliber is coming around the final corner now, I believe. Yes, he is. So he's going to retake 3rd place. Where's Hesselden? Hesselden's crossing the finish line now. So he's going to take 4th place. So that has cost Casely 4th position. And Hesselden is now going to have a big lead on him. Dave the Harp into the pits. Temp Fear follows him into the pits.
5 seconds is the gap between Beardy and Hulkenberg. Say it's 5 seconds between 1st and 2nd place with 7 laps remaining.
Let's have a quick look at what their previous lap times were. Beardy's was a 2:36 that he pitted, and Hulkenberg's was a 2 minutes near enough flat. So Hulkenberg running at least 2 seconds faster than Caliber, who's in 3rd place at the moment. Let's see what Beardy's lap time is going to be. Is he going to improve on a personal best? He might do when he gets to the start-finish line. Too many of these corners look similar on the off-board views that we've got. So 2 corners then for Beardy. I wonder if he's just teasing Hulkenberg here. Taking it easy, win it comfortably, give Hulkenberg a bit of hope.
His car does sound like he's short shifting. Those revs are not going up very high at all. So what's the lap time going to be for him? It's a 2:03, so it's not the fastest of laps. I mean, it is his first full lap after being in the pit lane. James Hulkenberg's... Yeah, go on.
It does another 2 minutes. Near enough flat. So caught him by 3 seconds on that lap, apparently.
Well, what I'm going to do, the point in time where I was checking their gap was the end of Sector 1, so I shall check the gap again when they get to that point. Which Beardy's only got a couple more.
I'm going to have to cut you off. We've got a battle going on. Sorry, we've got a battle going on. GBM Vectra, 7th place. He's had Dave the Harp come out of the pits just ahead of him. Temp Fear come out of the pits just behind him. So a battle going on then for 6th place while Steve works out what that gap is. And Temp Fear's not close enough, I don't think, to attack into turn 14. But if he has a good run through the corners, he may be able to attack into turn 1.
Hulkenberg is second closer to Beardy on this lap.
Okay, so the
than
gap
it was the previous lap.
So the gap is coming down then.
It was 3/10 quicker in that first sector as well.
Oh, GBM Vectra just ran a little bit wide on the final corner, turn 16. They're going to give Temp Fear half a chance of having a look at attacking, but I don't think he's quite close enough to really capitalise. No, he's not. No attack going on down into turn 1.
Sorry. Hulkenberg has just taken 1.3 seconds out of Beardy's lead in sector 2 alone. 1.3 seconds in one sector.
So perhaps Hulkenberg's found his rhythm in this car around this track then. Either that or, I mean, I can imagine what's going to happen here. Hulkenberg's going to get really close and then Beardy's going to go, oh, I'll use 6th gear now.
Yeah. It's a little annoying that I've got the sideways glitch with Hulkenberg's car. It's difficult to tell how hard he's actually pushing those tyres. But that lap is a 1:59.6 compared to Beardy's lap of a 2-minute dead. So Beardy was quicker in that third sector than Hulkenberg, but over the whole lap Hulkenberg has closed the gap in a little.
Well, I haven't got the sideways glitch on Hulkenberg's car, and I would say that he is pushing, but it looks like he is trying to keep it smooth. And that, I think, is the key with these cars. The more sideways you go with them, yes, it's great fun, but the slower you go.
Yeah. So Beardy just going at the cross sector 1, and his first sector was a 48.2. As Hulkenberg closed in the gap, now it's a 48.6. He's lost a few tenths in that first sector this lap round, so he's not able to close the gap at the moment.
What we have got going on is, I think Case Slay is beginning to close in on Hesselden. Yes, he is. He's closing that gap in. If you could have a look at what Case Slay and Hesselden's last lap times were.
Well, it's 2.4 seconds quicker for Case Slay on the last lap. I'll just let you know what this first sector is as they're about to cross the sector line. 48.6 for Hesselden and a 48.5.9 for Case Slay, so very, very close in that first sector. So maybe not in that first sector where Case Slay is gaining on Hesselden.
Something has happened to Temp Fear. He was very, very close to GBM Vectra.
Oh, Hulkenberg, he's off the track. He's back on it now. But he did an almighty sector 2. He was half a second quicker than Beardy, but then on board with him, he was off the track.
Quite possible he's pushed the tyres a little bit too hard then. It looks like he's going very, very cautiously there. He may have overheated the tyres. I mean, what's that lap time?
That's a 2:08. Oh. 2:08 seconds. That's 10 seconds he's just lost to Beardy in that last sector alone. So yeah, big mistake there from Hulkenberg. But that's going to mean that Caliber is going to be closing in on Hulkenberg. Yeah, he's going to have to start looking in his mirrors.
No, he's not. Caliber is at least a start-finish straight.
Yeah, I misjudged the corner that he was on.
But what Caliber's going to have to do is look in his mirrors, because he's got the yellow and black car of Hesselden closing in on him. We've seen this earlier on in the race, but it was Case Slay and Hesselden. This time it's Hesselden and Case Slay.
Yeah. I'm just looking to see where Dave the Harp is. He's a bit further away, well, quite a long way away from Case Slay. Yeah, I haven't got enough minutes to count the gap.
Yeah, I mean, the gaps can get quite big on project cars. I mean, it only takes one spin, one crash, one bad bit of setup, and the pace just isn't there in the cars to be able to attack or fight. But if you get it right, as Beardy has done on so many occasions this season, it can appear to be way too easy.
It does look like the way he's driving that car is just slow and steady, but it's working for him. And you quite often find that the fastest drivers are the ones that drive smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, with the Lotus 72D, you can push that car a bit more than you can push these Aussie V8s. It can handle it a little better. That's what it's made for. But in these Aussie V8s, I have had a few of the guys saying that you push the car around the track, it kills the tyres, you go slower. You take it smooth and it works very nicely, and Hesselden is really closing in on Caliber now. But I just want to have a quick look at the points. Go on, it sounded like you was about to say something there.
No, I just noticed actually that there was a car in the pits. It's James Hulkenberg, 3 laps to go, and he's decided to box. So,
he's going to have to get out of the pits very quick. He might not lose 1 position.
3.
Yeah, because if Caliber's going to jump him, Hesselden and Caseley are going to jump him. And Hesselden has got a run on Caliber here now, down the start-finish straight. I'm guessing Hulkenberg is still in the pit lane. But yes, he is, because Hesselden has just moved up a place, and Hesselden, looking up the inside, is going to have effectively 2nd place. But what Hulkenberg's going to have is probably a set of soft tyres that could be ridiculously quick. But that's Hesselden up to 2nd place.
In the pit lane now. Only just left the pit lane.
Oh dear, oh dear. I don't think
long pit stop.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be catching the cars ahead. Caseley's turn now, though, to try and catch Caliber and steal what would be his first podium in the PCS. I mean, Caliber in the opening stage of the race was very, very sideways with a glitch, so couldn't tell exactly how he's driving, but he's been doing a great job. I mean, to be up there fighting with the likes of Hesselden, Caseley, Hulkenberg, it means you're driving very, very quickly. But Caseley's got a run on him here now. He's right up that rear wing. Going to be quicker with a slipstream. He's having a look, but Caliber has got a bit of slipstream from Hesselden. Caseley trying to go later on the brakes without locking it up. Chucks it into the apex of the corner. Makes the move stick quite beautifully. Caliber nearly loses it on the exit. Takes out a brake marker board and makes it snow in Dubai.
Wow. I tell you what though, I'm just wondering how much top end speed Caseley may be losing with that damage. Because I would have expected with the slipstream he had to start off with, he should have been up alongside maybe a little sooner.
Well,
maybe that's affecting his top end.
Slipstream effect is not that powerful in these cars. You don't get much of a gain from being in the slipstream. But I'm interested to see what sort of lap time Hulkenberg does and whether he is going to be able to close in at all on Caliber corner now. And Hulkenberg is at the penultimate corner, so he's going to need to push. I would guess he's on the soft tyre. He's going to need to push him hard. No, he spun it. That's pushing it a little bit too hard, I'm afraid. But what we have got is Caseley now trying to attack Hesselden. This is for a chance of taking 2nd place. Beardy, he's just gone. He's off in the distance. He'll have finished this race and be waiting in the pub waiting for these guys to finish the race and do the podium interviews.
And I'll tell you what, at the end of lap 1, you would not have thought that you'd be saying that Hesselden and Caseley were battling for 2nd place coming up towards the end of this race.
No,
because they were the two that had the incidents and were falling backwards.
Yep. And the other guy that was involved in the incidents was Temp Fear, and I think he's running round in 8th place at the moment, and he's not that far up the road from these guys.
I'm wondering whether that back marker may end up coming into play.
Well, you keep an eye on those. I'm going to go on board with GBM Beardy because he's getting close to starting the final lap of the race. And if he does take victory here, which it looks like he will, that'll put him on 181 points. Live Briley said he's not going to be racing for the last, well, it'll be 2 races now. He'll stay on 146 points. Caseley, if he finishes 2nd, he'll be on 101. If he finishes 3rd, he'll be on 97. So this victory here for GBM Beardy is effectively going to crown him the PCS champion with 2 races left to go.
Hulkenberg has retired from the race. His car is in the pit box. It is in the garage. He's going no further.
Oh dear, oh dear. Now GBM Beardy, I think he was perhaps going for one last fast lap because he's just gone massively deep at turn 1. Now he has managed to bring fastest lap for him down to a 158.003.
That is the fastest lap of the race.
Caseley still close to Hesselden, but not close enough to attack, I don't think.
No, he needs to just keep that bit of pressure on for this lap and hope that Hesselden just outbreaks himself at some point. but it doesn't look like he can get actually up alongside to make a move stick unless there's a mistake there.
And to be fair, Hesselden doesn't make many mistakes, so that spin we saw him have earlier on in the race, it's something unusual to see from him, but it's very easy to do that in these cars. You light the rear end up a little bit too much while your front tyres are on a little bit of curb, and it can quite easily spin around, but for GBM Beardy, he hasn't got many corners left to go in this race. Only got about 5 or 6 to go, and then he's going to be taking the PCS title.
Wow. I'll just say about how it's easy to light these tyres up. I drove this car without traction control and it was mental. I thought, oh no, put traction control on. It barely made any difference. It still spun the tyres up and flipped the rears up and still spun it. So yeah.
That's the beauty of a rear wheel drive V8 Aussie monster. But for if people haven't watched Aussie V8s, it's worth it. Absolutely mental. But for GBM Beardy, though, he's only got one corner to go, and he's going to be going around that corner knowing the victory has been in the bag all the way from lap 1 to the very last lap of the race. So he does take the victory here in Dubai. 25 points to him. We'll move on to the battle for second place. And Hesselden looks like he's opened up enough of a gap there to hold K-Slay off. So it looks like it'll be a second place finish for him. And I've got a feeling he perhaps wasn't expecting that, even about 3 or 4 laps ago. But a fantastic second place result for him. K-Slay may be a little bit disappointed that it was only a third place finish there for him, but a great race nonetheless. Caliber, got to say hats off to you. Great performance there. Dave the Harp, quite a way down, or quite far back in 5th place at the moment. See,
it's just changed. It's just that Temp Fear's just jumped him.
Now that could be if Temp Fear has been lapped. It does that all the time.
Okay, so yeah, that'll be why.
Temp Fear
did get lapped. He did move out of the way very nicely for the leaders when they were coming through, so that'll be the reason why.
Yep, so when Dave the Heart crosses the line, that should tick down to a 5th place finish for him. And I think he'll be a little bit frustrated about that one. He showed very good pace in qualifying and had a drive-through penalty for what we can only think was a jump start at the start of the race, which could have been caused by a dodgy bit of synchronisation. But it will be a 5th place finish for him as he goes sideways across the line. Temp Fear, I believe, is in... No, GBM Vectra is going to cross the line in 6th place. So that's a good result for him. And that leaves us with Temp Fear going around the circuit in 7th place, with James Hulkenberg not finishing the race. Yep, finished the race in the pits. So for Temp Fear, it was good. It was having a very good race until I think he had a bit of a spin. But that's been one of the stories of the race in many ways, that even Hulkenberg, Hesselden, Temp Fear, K-Slay, Dave the Harp, they've all pretty much had an incident somewhere, and GBM Beardy has been able to just pretty much run away with it as soon as he got round turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, K-Slay started on pole, but by turn 1 he was in about 4th place. By the end of lap 1 he was pretty much last. He also had the incident on the way into the pits that stopped him dead. We saw Hesselden facing the wrong way on numerous occasions on his first stint. So yeah, I mean, pretty much every driver on the grid was facing the wrong way at certain points, apart from Beardy.
Yep. So Temp Fear crosses the line then to complete the running of the race, and we will get ready for our podium interviews. So bear with us a moment while we have a blue screen as I invite the drivers in for a little chat. So that'll be GBM Beardy, Hesselden and K-Slay. I mean, once again, I will say a huge disappointment for, the likes of Adam 4600. It looks like he wasn't even able to get off the line. And I mean, it'd be really frustrating, especially if you've been spending time practicing, that you don't even get the opportunity to to really go and race there. Hesselden has joined us for the podium interviews. Now he, I'm sure, knows what to do with his microphone, so we'll just wait a moment for GBM Beardy and Kay Slay. I tell you what, I have just noticed as well, but I won't mention it just yet. GBM Beardy joins us in the podium interview room, so we'll just hang on for Kay Slay. But the fantastic race there from all of the drivers, some beautiful racing at different stages of the race. And that has been one of the features of the season, really, that there has been some fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing, beautiful overtakes, beautiful defending, and some very interesting crashes. And that might be why Kay Slay's taking his time joining us for a chat, because he knows we're going to question him about one of his. Now, just
there he is.
There we go. So Kay Slay has now joined us. So we'll crack on with the interviewing the drivers, and I want to start off with saying that GBM Beardy, if Livebride doesn't race again in the last two races, you've just confirmed yourself as the front row racing PCS champion. So how much do you now owe Livebride for not racing in this one to confirm the title?
Quite a lot, because I know that he's going over to iRacing.
Yeah, he's going to need it. He's going to need the money. But yeah, fantastic race, fantastic result. The title effectively is yours. I will have to check the maths on it, but I've got to say, very, very well done.
Thank you very much.
So, how was the race from your point of view? Fairly comfortable?
Qualifying, I was just sitting there seeing what the times were. And I've popped it into second, thought that's not too bad. Start, I couldn't have got any better, to be honest. I mean, I launched it just in time. I thought I jumped it, but it didn't give me any penalty.
Well, you managed
I was happy with that.
Yeah, well, you managed to gain to the lead at the start and led for the whole of the race. If you could just confirm with us, tyres used, strategy you went for?
Well, I went for the hard tyre. Came in on lap 8, and then again on about laps 16, 17.
So it was
both was hard sets.
So a two-stop strategy then. We saw throughout sort of the later stages of the race that Hulkenberg was beginning to close the gap in on you. Were you taking it easy, giving him a bit of hope, just waiting to use that 6th gear?
In all fairness, what I was doing there was what Bri used to do to me on Gran Turismo. I used to slow down and just wait, get my hopes up and then go for it again, because I was saving my tyres.
Hulkenberg's going to hate that. But that is what we predicted, that was one of the possibilities. You were giving him a little bit of hope. And in a way it worked, because he was catching until he pushed a little bit too hard. But a fantastic result for you. Another win in the PCS, and we might come back to you in a few moments' time. We'll move over to second place, Hesselden. And if you can hear banging, folks, I'll apologise on behalf of Steve. His rabbit is mental, and it just likes banging stuff. So if you hear someone banging,
press mute.
if you hear someone banging, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me. It is the rabbit.
Either that, or it's Kay Slay banging his helmet against his steering wheel. We'll get on to that in a moment. So Hesselden, second place. Is it a bit like last week, where this sort of result has come as a little bit of a surprise?
Yeah, mental. Yeah, I had no practice. Literally qualifying, spent learning the track. So yeah, well happy with that. I spun it out so many times. I don't know. I think I was about 5th for a while, and then I thought I might try and nick a podium, and then I come round. I think it's like the 23rd lap, and then I was in 2nd place. So over the moon with that.
Yeah, it was very interesting how that went. We did manage to catch a couple of your spins on camera. Beautiful time in there. I think one of them was on the apex curb of turn 9, just heading onto the long straight in the opening couple of laps. Was it just a little bit too much front wheel on the curb?
Yeah, I struggled with that corner all race. So yeah, and I kept spinning on the third corner and the second to last as well. So yeah, it was hard work, but yeah, surprised I got second.
It was a fantastic battle between yourself and Casely. It really was a fantastic battle. I mean, he might not agree. There was one of your spins, I think, just before you pitted. You had a little spin, went into the pits, and when you came out the pits, you were just behind Casely when he'd made his stop. Was that frustrating for you, knowing sort of, is it in your mind thinking, you know what, if I hadn't have spun then, I'd have been ahead of him?
Yeah, just one of those things, just to get on with it. So, but yeah, I was just trying to get around the track. I struggled so much, but it was a good race, so good fun. Good battling with Dave and Casely, and that was good fun.
It was good to watch. So just confirm your strategy there, tyres used?
Hards all the way through. Pitted on lap 8 and then 17, I think.
Well, it worked for you. It worked for you. Fantastic result. We're going to move on to Casely now. Casely. Oh, it's showing Sergeant Caliber's car because Casely's left the pit lane already. So I'll leave it on Sergeant Caliber's car because, to be fair, he had a fantastic race. But Casely, I'm guessing there's a little bit of frustration from you from this race.
Yeah. Started from the very beginning.
So what happened at the start? Because qualifying was fantastic. You straight away banged in, great lap, followed it up with another great lap, and then you went and smashed the final lap have put in, you'd have started second place. So qualifying, absolutely fantastic. The lights go green. What happened?
Well, on my screen, normally the lights come on, but
It said sinking.
it said, yeah. So I didn't know what was going on. Then the lights came on as normal, and then it was as if everyone went before my green lights came on, and I was 6th before the first corner. And then I think Temp might have had a bit of lag because he was on the outside of me in turn 2, and then he literally just appeared in front of me, so we had contact, and then I was driving pretty much the first stint with damage, so yeah.
Well, I mean, that first stint was a difficult one. Once again, though, you showed your pace in the car. I mean, fast in qualifying, even with that bit of damage, you were quick. I mean, having lost a few places, you were gaining them back again, and then losing them again, you were gaining them back again. Strategy-wise, it was a bit of an interesting one. You seemed to go quite long on that first stint. Was you intending on pitting earlier, or did you go with the strategy that you had planned?
I was going to do 988, I think. But because of the incidents I had in the first stint, I was going to try one stop. But I got to lap 10 or 11, and I lost about 6 seconds of the lap. So I took it in on 18 and then went to the end.
Well, I think there's some insider trading going on with my co-commentator and you then, because he was thinking that you were going to be trying the one stop. I mean, even trying the one stop and realising, okay, it's not going to work, switching to the 2 stop, it still put you there in play until that. I mean, we mentioned a moment ago with Hesselden where he spun it on his way to the pits. You had a little bit of a moment yourself. So what happened with that one?
I just didn't brake. I was so frustrated, honestly. I've been so angry on this race. And yeah, I just chucked it in the pit because it takes over for you before the little corner. And yeah, I just didn't brake.
And it didn't take over for you? No. And you did a Hesselden and ended up in the barrier and having to back it up like he did at Brands Hatch.
Well, yeah, you can't do it. The game does it for you.
All right, fair enough. But that incident did mean that when you came out of the pits, Hesselden, frustratingly for you, was ahead of you. You gave it a damn good go of catching him on that final stint of the race. You very, very nearly did it. I mean, how close do you think you actually got to stealing that position off him?
I got close on lap 24. I was about 7 tenths behind him. But his last lap was really good. My last lap was awful. So yeah, just make sure I got third, to be honest.
Well, a frustrating race for you, but just to make things interesting, the title race might be over. However, Hesselden and K-Slay are now going to be on exactly the same points. So with 2 races to go, GBM Beardy, I reckon you should start from the back of the grid and let Hesselden and K-Slay batter it out to see who's going to effectively take second, will be third, who's going to finish next in line in the standings. Okay, Steve, I'm going to hand over to you. Any questions for the guys?
I'm going to do a Ray at this point and go, no.
Okay, drivers, any questions for each other? That'd be a no. Okay. The stupid thing is, though, as soon as I go, okay, that's broadcast ended, they all go blah 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 blah. You can't shut them up. We're here for half hour after the broadcast ended talking. They're really shy while we're broadcasting. So no, okay, we'll go bring this to its closing stages then. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be next Friday for round 9 of the PCF, and I haven't got my piece of paper, so more than likely Hesselden's going to shout out where the race is at. No, he really has gone quiet. It's Catalonia. So on Friday for the PCF in the Lotus 72D, it'll be 31 laps of the Catalonia circuit, so that'll be 9 PM on Friday night. Next up for the Front Row Racing PCS will be 24 laps of the Watkins Glen GP circuit. And I tell you what, these cars around that track, it's going to be, as K-Slay's just hinted, awful. It's not going to be a nice track for these cars. It's going to destroy the tyres. It's bumpy, it's hilly, it's tricky, but it'll make for a very interesting race. Now, if anyone's interested in joining our Project Cars Leagues, find Front Row Racing on Facebook. I'll post a link in the description. And just send us a message. We have got a few reserve drivers waiting in line for the PCS, but Fridays there's still a few spaces available. So yeah, send us a message and we'll see what we can do. And I think that is just about it from me. I think I've mentioned everything I need to mention. So very well done to all of the drivers this evening. A fantastic race there, and I'm sure they're all hot, sweaty, because it's been a really hot day over here in the UK. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm off for a shower. Have a good one, folks, and we'll see you all again soon.
See you later, guys.
Okay, the broadcast has ended.
Everyone can talk now. That means you haven't ended it, really.
Oh, Steve, you had to say it, didn't you? How am I supposed to catch them out and let the viewers...
PlayStation, hello, iRacing.
Let the viewers listen to these guys and how much they talk if you tell them. Yeah, so Beardy, iRacing then, that's where you're going to be heading off to, is it?
I'm already on there.
Here's a question for you then. How do you feel about paying £10 per track?
Love it.
Brilliant. So if you get involved in a 12 race season, it's going to cost you £120 for the tracks alone.
I don't mind.
Someone's got too much money. Right, okay, that's all, folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.